All right, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Jan716, aka Jan Sports, back here again. And today, I want to quickly recap the Cleveland Browns losing to the New York Football Jets, 23 to 16. And this is a big loss for the Cleveland Browns because if they would have won this game, they would have clinched the wild card spot. And because this is a year where the AFC conference is clearly the superior conference, and even with the addition of an extra team going to the playoffs, the eighth team could well be 11-5 and not even make it. So the Browns, you had to win this game, and you lost. You lost to the worst team in football, the New York Jets. Well, the Jaguars are now the worst team in football, but you lose to the Jets, and you know, can you really put it all on this Browns football team for losing this game? Yes and no. I would say it's 50-50 because you came into this game with four receivers out, right? You had you had your best receivers not playing in this game. Landry didn't play. All those guys, they didn't play. So your best targets were Njoku, Harrison Bryant, and Austin Hooper. Those were literally your best players. You had your deep threat, which a lot of people, I know a lot of Browns fans, they like that guy Hall. Besides that, though, that's pretty much all you had. So this was a football game that a lot of people would expect the Browns to run the football. I'm pretty sure the Jets made sure that, hey, the Browns are definitely going to be running the football in this game, and that's not what happened. Now, the Jets have one of the best run defenses in the NFL. Well, one thing that's really consistent about this Jets football team, they can stop the run. It is what it is. I mean, you can throw somebody from Wendy's in that defensive line, and the Jets will still be top five in the league in run defense. So clearly, that advantage had to go to the New York Jets. But for the Cleveland Browns, man, Kareem Hunt had the ball, had like what, 9 carries. Nick Chubb had 11 carries. I mean, now granted, every time they got the football, they couldn't really do that much. The only time the running backs actually did something is when you either had them in the flat or it was a bunch of screen plays with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. But 52 pass attempts, that's just not going to cut it. I mean, when four of your best receivers are not playing in this game, and Baker Mayfield has to throw the ball 52 times, that's just not going to cut it. That's not going to win. That's just not going to win you the football game. Now, there were a lot of drops. And I mean, there were a lot of drops in today's football game, guys. I mean, Austin Hooper had some drops. Harrison Bryant had some. Harrison Bryant had some drops. It was pretty obvious too that the receivers and that these tight ends did not help Baker Mayfield out too, because there were a lot of drops in this football game. However, we got to put some fault to Baker Mayfield. He had 3-4 turnovers this football game. I mean, he had a bunch of fumbles, including the one when they were trying to go for a quarterback sneak, fumbled the football. That just can't let it happen. And Baker Mayfield took accountability for it, rightfully so. But you just can't do that. This is the most important game of the year, and you got all these turnovers are happening. You got receivers dropping passes like it's no tomorrow. Defensively, I feel like, for the Browns defensively, could they have done some things better? Yeah, of course. But I feel like overall wise, this Browns defense played pretty well. I feel like the Jets, for the most part, had really good field position, and when they had to go on those long drives, sometimes they capitalized more than the Browns did. The Browns had two. This special teams unit had 2 blocked field goals. I don't know. I don't know what the Browns defense and what their special teams unit, as far as the kicking unit, as far as their kick defense unit could have done. This was really up to the Browns offense, and they just could not capitalize on the type of drives that they had. Now, Kevin Stefanski, we got to give him some blame. He's had a lot of credit from Browns fans, from a lot of football fans around. I gave Stefanski some credit. He is definitely responsible for this loss. He did not get these guys prepared. Again, it's hard to do it when you got 4 guys literally when you're on the plane to New York and they couldn't play. But again, every team has been through this. Every team has been through this. You got to find a way to make adjustments, and by throwing the ball 52 times and not giving the ball to your 2 best running backs, that you got to find some way to get the ball to your best playmakers. And again, just throwing the ball 52 times Especially when Baker Mayfield he's not on his A game. His receivers are dropping passes. The offensive line is not really holding well in pass protection a lot. Baker Mayfield's fumbling the football. I mean, you have got to do something. You got to make some type of adjustment in order for this Browns team to win. Because this is the most important game of the year. And when you lost this football game, now you got to look at the Indianapolis Colts and the Tennessee Titans now. You got to look at those two football teams. Because I think if either one of those two teams win, I think they'll get the playoff spot. So, the Browns need help. They need help going into next week. But this was a brutal loss for the Cleveland Browns. Now, for the New York Jets, I mean, they screwed themselves last week by winning against the Rams. They lost Trevor Lawrence, but, hell, I mean, they're going to get the number 2 pick regardless. So, it is what it is. The Jets could have went all out, but overall wise, this was a really, really good win for the New York Football Jets, I guess. This solidifies that they're going to get the number 2 pick overall. And we'll see what happens. We'll see if they're going to go with Justin Fields or Zach Wilson, or if they're going to trade back, try to accumulate some more picks. They got a lot of cap going into next year, so maybe they can accumulate a lot of those first-round picks next year. Maybe finally try to get enough weapons, get enough help to around Sam Darnold. And we'll see what happens next year for the NFL draft and what they'll do for free agency. But Cleveland Browns, ugly loss. And this game could definitely screw them out of the playoffs next week.